Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Randy, and this is the sixth in my series where I go through each year starting with 1950, and I tell you my favorite album, my favorite song, my favorite movie, and my favorite television show. We're up to 1955. The only stipulation is that I have to have a physical copy of it, and with the television series, I take the whole series into consideration, but they are only eligible their debut season. And so, like I said, we're 1955. Rock and roll is starting to sneak its way into the charts, at least in the 45s. Not so much in the album market, but I think 1956 is going to change that. But let's go to the album. My favorite album or my first runner-up for 1955 is going to be Louis Armstrong and his All-Stars, Satch Plays Fats. I only have it on CD, but although I don't think it's quite as good as his Satch Plays W.C. Handy from the year earlier, the highlights are like Ain't Misbehavin', Honeysuckle Rose, and I'm Crazy About My Baby, and My Baby's Crazy About Me. Louis Armstrong had also worked with Fats twice in the 1920s, but yeah, great album from 1955, Satch Plays Fats. My favorite album from 1955, it's going to be Frank Sinatra and the Wee Small Hours. Great looking cover. He was on the Capitol label, but the title says it all in this melancholy ballad-filled masterpiece, arranged by Nelson Riddle with some great forlorn piano by Bill Miller. It is considered one of the first concept albums, but the highlights include the title track, Glad to Be Unhappy, and I Get Along With You Very Well. My favorite album, 1955, In the Wee Small Hours. And now for my favorite song of 1955. My third runner-up, and then we're getting into some rock and roll now. From Elvis Presley. This is the Sun Collection. I think if you have any Elvis album, this is the essential, I think. This is, I think, almost all of his Sun recordings. And I'm picking the song Mystery Train. It was written by blues artist Junior Parker and originally released by him in 1953. Elvis recorded it for Sun Records in 1955 and made it more of an R&B infused rockabilly tune. And it was actually the B-side of I Forgot to Remember to Forget, which is also a good song. But yeah, Elvis Presley, Mystery Train. And now for my second runner-up. It's by Tennessee Ernie Ford, the song 16 Tons, which is the title track on this early compilation of his songs. There you see it there. Tennessee Ernie Ford was probably my dad's favorite singer, even though he didn't play a lot of music in the house. And unlike Glenn Calloway from the Basement, I'm not still rebelling against my parents. I can still appreciate some of the music they listen to. Well, they didn't really listen to much music, but my dad did like Tennessee Ernie Ford. This song, 16 Tons, was written by the guitarist Merle Travis, who wrote quite a few mining songs. And Ford's finger snapping and his deep baritone vocals make this song a classic, emphasizing the miner's struggles. 16 Tons, Tennessee Ernie Ford. My first runner-up from the great piano player, Little Richard, and it's going to be the song Tutti Frutti. Little Richard was a bundle of energy, and this song has this fast-paced piano and wild-eyed vocals, and it hit the mark perfectly. Plenty of double entendres in this, and it was written by Little Richard and Dorothy Labastri, and I guess both claim that they wrote most of the song, but anyway, it was his first big hit, Little Richard, Tutti Frutti. And my favorite song from 1955 by the great Fats Domino, it's going to be the song Ain't That a Shame. Now, he helped define the New Orleans sound that influenced rock and roll. It's his signature piano style, that rolling piano. And this song's about a betrayed lover. It's a classic tune covered by a slew of artists, from Cheap Trick to the Four Seasons to Hank Williams Jr. Just love his piano style. Fats Domino, Ain't That a Shame, my favorite song from 1955. Now we get to the film section, and for my favorite movie from 1955, the third runner-up is Bad Day at Black Rock with Spencer Tracy, directed by John Sturges, who also did The Magnificent Seven. This features Spencer Tracy coming to a southwest desert town and being met with ridicule and suspicion as he searches for the father of a Japanese-American soldier who died. It's a masterpiece on racial prejudice. Bad Day at Black Rock. My second runner-up is the film noir classic Kiss Me Deadly, directed by Robert Aldridge. This is a Criterion collection, spine number 568. But Criterion's also have some great features with the booklet and like the special features on the DVD. But this is a great film noir, unusual with its sci-fi undertones and apocalyptic message. It is the most atypical of noirs, and it's from a Mickey Spillane novel to boot. Ralph Meeker is great as the tough guy, Mike Hammer, who seems to make nothing but mistakes. But great film, Kiss Me Deadly. First runner-up is the French film Rififi, directed by Jules Dassin. This is another Criterion collection, spine number 115. Yeah, with the booklet, and this has a couple DVDs in here. But it's a fantastic jewelry heist picture with a group of four robbing an exclusive Paris jewelry shop. It features a detailed heist sequence, almost all in silence. Many worried later that it would be so meticulous that thieves could copy this and rob stores, but it's a classic French crime film, Rififi. And my favorite movie of 1955, I have it in this Robert Mitchum film collection, and it's the film The Night of the Hunter. Now, this is Charles Laughton's only film as a director, and it's a masterpiece of impending terror with a psychopathic preacher played by Robert Mitchum. It's chilling. It has this chilling atmosphere, the stark black and white photography, which only adds to Mitchum's unnerving portrayal. I think the Coen brothers might have watched this before writing No Country for Old Men. And let's see. Where it is. There it is. There he is with love and hate written on his hands. Most terrifying preacher you're ever going to meet. Night of the Hunter. That's going to be my favorite film from 1955. Now we get to my favorite television show of 1955. As you can see, I do like 50s television, especially like a lot of the guest stars that they would have on the shows. But anyway, let's get to it. My third runner-up for my favorite TV show from 1955 is the series Soldiers of Fortune. You can see it. This is a half-hour adventure series which starred John Russell, who would later star in the Western Lawman, another great series, and Chick Chandler as his sidekick. Adventures took place all over the world, often in jungle environs, but it was all shot on the Republic backlot. But always a lot of fun. Soldiers of Fortune, my third runner-up. All right, my second runner-up is science fiction theater. See it there? But this was a great series hosted by Truman Bailey, who would weave in scientific information, often with these demonstrations, before beginning the science fiction story. It gave a hint of authenticity where we could say, yeah, it might happen. But yeah, great series, science fiction theater. And now to my first runner-up, and it's the Western series, Gunsmoke. I just grabbed this is actually the third season, volume 1. This is one of my pet peeves, is a lot of times, of course, these seasons back in the 50s and sometimes into the 60s, they'd have like maybe 40 episodes for a season. And so when they sold them on DVD, they'll oftentimes would split them up and have, you had 2 volumes you would have to buy, which I never did like that. But anyway, Gunsmoke, one of the longest running series that lasted 20 seasons, with James Arness as Sheriff Matt Dillon, protecting the town of Dodge City. And I do mean protecting, because it seemed like every other episode he'd have to shoot someone. And with about 30 to 40 episodes a season and 20 seasons, I imagine he shot about 300 people. But yeah, Matt Dillon, It had a great supporting cast with Dennis Weaver as Chester, later replaced by King Curtis as Festus. Also had Milburn Stone as Doc Holliday. I mean, Doc, not Doc Holliday, but Doc. And Amanda Blake as Kitty. Yeah. Gunsmoke, my first runner-up. And now for my favorite television series of 1955, and it's Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It would later become the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, but this is a great, it had the great title sequence where Hitchcock's profile, and he would walk into it, and he had this understated humor when he would introduce each episode. Before there was the Twilight Zone, this series often had those strange, eerie stories. And Hitchcock also directed a handful of episodes. But if you like the Twilight Zone, I suggest you check out the Alfred Hitchcock Presents TV series. And thank you, everyone. I guess I forgot to mention that I had been on vacation. That's why I missed a week. But I hope everyone's doing well. I would love to see your picks that I missed down below. And everyone have a good day.